Hello and welcome to the Hong Kong Racing Show. Andrew Brown alongside Alex Evers and Andie Biancone. Alex and I are back in the United States after a big week in Hong Kong. Andie, we missed you. What chance of you joining us next year?
I think next year will be a definite. I was supposed to go this year, but my best friend got married, so I went and shed a lot of tears. I was her maid of honor, did a cool speech, but enjoyed watching all the replays of the races.
Yeah, and we're going to take a look at them, look back at the four Group 1s shortly as well. Alex, would you say your favourite week on the racing calendar?
Favorite week of the racing year every year. It's replaced my favorite race. I used to love photographing the Hollywood Futurity at the nighttime with the form in the background, and now the Hong Kong Cup is my new favorite race of the year to photograph, and didn't disappoint this year either, especially with that celebration J-Mac gave. That was unreal.
Yeah, unbelievable, wasn't it? And Andie, we should give credit where credit's due as well. You tipped the winner of all four Group 1s. Well done to you.
Oh gosh, there were so many free squares, guys. Please don't praise me for doing the bare minimum. Shout out to Oisin Murphy though, because that was sick in the vase.
When he checked, I was like, it's over for that horse. His run's going to come to an end. And then he gets that extra hole, and the horse just exploded. It was incredible. That ride was brilliant.
Yeah, and his form coming into the vase was exceptional. I mean, just two Group 2 victories, great Group 1 placed. And Oisin he really is a difference maker. I've seen him at Gulfstream. He came and rode a ton at Gulfstream last winter, and I was ultra impressed. But one of the best riders in the world. So he knew the horse well. He was riding him back. I was like, this is Oisin's year.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Terrific ride from him. And it marked the first UK trained winner at HKIR in 12 years as well, which I found extraordinary.
So cool. And it was Oisin Murphy's first win in Hong Kong as well. So it's just thumbs up all around. I can't believe we got, what did he go off at, 16-1?
Something like that.
He was backed in extraordinarily heavy late. He ended up starting 11-1, paid $12 in Hong Kong, but minutes before was 18-1. And when you consider the liquidity in those pools, that was a huge go late, like 17-1 into 11-1 in the final few minutes. It was a really, really big go. It must have been after your pick became public, Andie, that the betting public got involved.
No. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. But yeah, thank you to Oisin and Giavellotto. Otherwise, I would just have a bunch of free squares for all these kudos.
Well, that was the Vase. Let's move on to the sprint where Ying Rising was sent out, as Andie said, a very short-priced favourite and looking for his 9th straight win and his first Group 1 victory. Here's the final stages.
It's Ying Rising in front. He's too clear. Satono Rave, Helios Express going great races. Ying Rising, he'll win it. Ying Rising has beaten only the Helios Express or Satono Rave.
So the world's best sprinter, Ying Rising, victorious under Zac Purton for trainer David Hayes. Alex, he got the job done, did what he had to do, but there was certainly this sense I felt on track that the crowd was expecting something a little bit more. What did you make of the win?
Yeah, I thought it was actually really good considering that he got pressure from the outside and he had to be in the middle of horses on the front, kind of where he's never been before. And if that's like a step backwards for him and he still wins a Grade 1 in the time, I think if I was looking at the pictures, like 108 and something, still really, really fast. He's got so much room to improve. And to be honest, to me, I kind of just hope they keep him sprinting and go for the Hong Kong Sprint Series and not try to stretch him to the 1600. Yeah. And I guess we'll see that because it looks like he's targeting the Centenary Sprint there in January. But I thought it was a brilliant performance and for everything considered. And we've seen some horses have a really big performance in that Jockey Club Sprint, the Bank of China, the 3 weeks before, and then come back flat in the HKIR race, kind of like a Thero a couple years ago, who was so highly touted and then kind of disappointed in that race. But this horse is incredible, and he's got the speed to place himself, and he can finish off the runs. He's just going to be a difficult horse to beat at 1,200 to 1,400 meters to me.
Yeah, I'm right with Alex, like, he didn't have his ideal trip. He was pressed. He showed his versatility in that spot, I think. And what Alex just said, he didn't bounce off the prep race, which is huge and something you really have to be aware of, especially with sprinters.
Had to overcome a slow start and then had Victor, the winner, just kind of eyeballing him throughout pretty much the whole race. Andie, when you've got a horse such as that putting pressure on you and it's firing you up and everything, how much energy would that have taken out of Ying Rising in the run?
Well, Ying Rising, clearly just a horse who loves what he's doing, because a lot of horses, when they take that kind of pressure, obviously it exerts a lot of energy. Horses are competitive animals. When they get eye to eye with other horses, they tend to want to do too much. But Ying Rising just really flexing his true talent, being able to handle that pressure and, still being able to kick on with the win. I feel like at that level, when you're such a heavy favorite, it's almost like everybody in the field is out to beat you. So Victor, the winner, was like, oh, Ying Rising is going down. Let's go. Let's gun it. Let's put the pressure on him. Let's put the fire on him. And he was still able to overcome. So I know probably the crowd was expecting him to win by a greater margin. But for me, this victory really showed how versatile and how game he really is.
You saw where Victor the winner finished. Oh, sorry, Andrew. You saw where Victor the winner finished. He finished last. I mean, that took everything out of him, and he couldn't finish off his run. And he's a nice horse in his own right too, where he's had success on the front end. And Ying Rising's a star. There's just no way around it.
Yeah.
That's right. And as you say, Alex, we'll tackle the Group 1 Centenary Cup January 19 next. Later on in the year, Australia's $20 million Everest is potentially on the cards over the 6 furlongs up the Royal Randwick stretch. So that'll be an interesting one. I thought Helios Express was fantastic in that race for second. Let's move on to the mile now. Voyage Bubble looking to go one better than last year when he was second behind Golden 60, and he was sent out the favourite ahead of Japan's Soul Rush.
2 lengths then to Soul Rush, Ching Ching Glory. It's Voyage Bubble, the leader. He's 3 in front over Beauty Eternal, Soul Rush and Beauty Joy. Voyage Bubble's going to see it out, and he's going to be the king of the mile. Voyage Bubble has beaten Soul Rush, Beauty Joy, Ching Ching Glory, Galaxy Patch.
So punters getting it right there with Voyage Bubble powering home with J-Mac up for trainer Ricky Yu. Andie also getting it right, another pick on top for Andie, and it was a real workmanlike performance, I thought, from Voyage Bubble, Andie.
Yeah, I mean, I just decided to stick with him because he came through for me at like 6-1 in the local prep, and I just felt like the local horses kind of had a serious advantages here, but I was just hoping that Voyage Bubble would carry his form, that he wouldn't regress off that last victory, and there is no Golden 60 in there this year, so it paid off.
Yeah, the track, to me, it looked like it was playing sort of on pace. You wanted to be in the top, 1 to 6 horses, nothing really rattling home from the back to win. And I think with all the traffic and all the trouble behind Voyage Bubble, he just stayed clear, used his tactical speed. And it's exactly how he ran the last race. And he's going to be tough to beat if the track continues to play that way. And the pace is what it is, where it's not flying up front. He's going to be a tough horse. And that Hong Kong Derby form, we got to see 2 Hong Kong Derby winners win on HKIR Day, Romantic Warrior as well. And it's a special race, and it always produces something good.
The final Group 1 of the day was, of course, the Hong Kong Cup. Romantic Warrior was sent out, an unbackable favourite.
Romantic Warrior, he's taken over. 1 length Testiera. Liberty Island continues to run on, but it's the Warrior. Romantic Warrior, 2 on Liberty Island. It's history at Sha Tin. 3 cups. Romantic Warrior beat home Liberty Island and Testiera.
Romantic Warrior didn't disappoint, securing a 3rd straight Hong Kong Cup, the first ever hat-trick for trainer Danny Shum. Listen into what jockey James McDonald had to say to Nick Child after the race.
It's just been a remarkable effort by Danny and his team, and the Japanese put it to him, but with no luck.
We're just running out of superlatives, aren't we, really?
He's the best.
He is indeed.
Forget the rest. He's the best.
He is indeed. And just on today's performance, he felt as good as he's ever felt?
Yeah, he has been flying, and anyone could ride him. He's that easy, but I'm the lucky one. Horse of a lifetime. This was our moment to create history, and it dead set felt like I was lining up for the winning kick for the All Blacks. It was that pinch me moment.
James, let's leave it there.
Yeah.
Very well done.
Thank you.
So he's the best, forget the rest, coming from a pretty fired up J-Mac there post-race. Alex, you captured some brilliant photos of the celebrations. What did you make of J-Mac's antics post-race?
It was pretty wild. And like, I loved how on Voyage Bubble, he was just quiet and he just did like the one finger pointing to the next one. And then he looked back, and the look on Damian Lane's face, so you can see the picture, Damian's got this big smile on his face. And Toss of Terror ran a huge race, as did Liberty Island, but no match for the champ. And this horse, if to me, if he's not Longines' world's best horse, it's a disservice to him, because he's just a star, and that performance was incredible. And he beat some amazing horses there. And then, it wasn't really seen on video, but Danny Shum was up with the inner, where they enter the winner's enclosure area, and he was tipping his hat and congratulating all the three runners that finished behind him. And it was a pretty special moment, and the crowd was so fired up for Romantic Warrior and J-Mac, and it was sights to be seen for sure.
Yeah, Romantic Warrior, just incredible in every way. I think he's now the world's highest earning racehorse. He's just, I remember when I first started handicapping for you guys, I first laid eyes on Romantic Warrior, and I was just in love with him. Like, I can't describe it. The way he moves, his expression, his face. Like, I'm just a horse girl at heart. So, like, I truly gush over a horse like Romantic Warrior, just regardless of his racing achievements. Like, as a physical specimen, he's incredible. Such a kind eye, very intelligent head. The way he carries himself, he's a beautiful mover, effortless, and just his vibe as well. He's a kind horse. He's an honest horse you could just tell he's the kind of horse who would take a bullet for you. So to see him get this victory was just incredible, and he's so deserving of it. And I am going to black out if I see him in Dubai.
He's gotten to me. When I first saw him, he didn't quite have that presence. And then after the Cox Plate trip, and you see the Canano, you just see him on track. He's just full of himself. It's incredible. And same thing you said, the kind eye. He's so gentle. There was the video of J-Mac with his wife and his kids with the horse yesterday. And the horse is just so kind. It was the polar opposite of Golden 60 in the box.
He's cute as hell. Like, that's the only way to describe it. Like, he really is.
My wife, who knows nothing about horses, says the exact same thing. She's like, oh my God, he's just so cute.
Yeah. He's a good guy, I don't know. You just got to root for the good guy.
Not just cute, but an absolute superstar too. He's now taken his winning streak to 7. He's a winner of 17 starts he's a winner of 17 from 22 starts. Never finished worse than 4th in those 22 starts. So an absolutely sensational racehorse. As you mentioned, Andy, his bankroll's now pushed past 22 million. That breaks Golden 60's all-time record. And he's not done with yet. There's some very, very, very big purses on the horizon. As you mentioned, Middle East is coming up next. He's heading off to Dubai and then on to Saudi. Originally, his first race in the Middle East was going to be the Al Maktoum Challenge over the 9.5 furlongs on the dirt, but a decision was made by trainer Danny Shum and owner Peter Lau in conjunction with jockey James McDonald to switch to the Group 1 Giavellotto over 9 furlongs on the turf instead, to get him used to the environment first. And then they will then push on to the US $20 million Saudi Cup. Depending on how he performs then, he'll then push on to the Dubai World Cup on the dirt, or instead tackle the Dubai turf. So they're the latest plans on April 5. Is it April 5 you're going to be in Dubai, Andy?
Correct.
Wow, so that could be the day that you first lock eyes, Romantic Warrior. How do you think you're going to feel when you first see him?
Security. Get this girl.
Interesting, too, about this horse, like, he's got Street Cry in his pedigree, and we've seen some of the most consistent runners in the last 20 years have Street Cry. You got Winks, Zenyatta, this one. I mean, just to do what he's done with that level of consistency and then traveling around the world, too. He takes his track everywhere he goes. I mean, it's a pretty incredible thing.
It really is. It's so special. And like I said, at the end of the day, bottom line, he's just a good horse, the type of horse who would take a bullet for you. And he clearly loves his connections and loves what he's doing. And that just transcends through everything that he does.
The run in April too, where he was like at the 600, not traveling on that yielding track, and that track was brutal in April. You'd walk across it, and the moisture was just coming out of it. For him to actually rally and kick past prognosis, that was the moment where I was like, "This horse is a freak. Like, there's no one going to beat him at this level of maturity." It's just that was an unreal run, and then again to back it up the way he has over and over and over again, whether he's in Japan, Hong Kong, it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, well, Romantic Warrior booked to depart Hong Kong on December 17. So we wish him all the best with his travels. I think Andie Biancone, you're booked to depart somewhere pretty soon as well. So we better let you go, right?
Yes, I am taking my U.S. citizenship test tomorrow. So, at this point, I've got a French passport, a Hong Kong passport. I can't read either of them. So I'm pretty pumped to be able to read my own passport once I get this U.S. citizenship.
That's awesome. Are you going to get your citizenship at Churchill Downs in that ceremony at Churchill Downs? I can't remember where it is. Like sometime in the summer.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna throw a big party though. I'm gonna dress up like Lady Liberty. Keith said he's gonna make a cake with like the Chinese president shaking hands with Trump that says "She's your problem now." And like I said, Eagle scoffs. Like, just I'm ready.
Oh my!
That's awesome. Andie, thanks so much for joining us to recap what was a pretty remarkable HKIR day last weekend. Again, congrats on getting all your tips right, and good luck. We're counting down the days now for when you get to see Romantic Warrior in Dubai.
Thank you guys. So am I. And yeah, thanks for having me again.
Always great to be joined by Andie Biancone there. Now, Alex, there was another horse that caught your eye on the card at Sha Tin on Sunday. Tell us a little bit about Packing Hermit, who won the last under Joe Moreira.
Yeah, on HKIR, there's always a horse that pops up that's going to be a future star. And, last year we got to see Galaxy Patch run on the undercard. And this year, Packing Hermit with Joe Moreira. I just thought it was a nice run. And he's now moved up to 93 on the ratings for this season. And he's got to be one of the favorites for the Classic Series. And looking at his pedigree, he looks like he's bred to run the 2,000 meters. He's done well. He kind of has that grinder approach to him. And it'll be interesting to see if the club brings over Moreira to continue to ride the horse or if Zac jumps back aboard. But he's definitely one to watch. And we've mentioned him before, and he's had a stellar season so far. So this is a horse we're going to continue to watch as we lead into that Classic Series. But he's been impressive thus far.
Yeah, and built a field of quite a bit of quality as well. Sing Dragon was in there, your best bet from a couple of weeks ago, who duly saluted. Packing Treadmill and the likes of Chu Chow Spirit and Ruby Lot. So certainly one to look for the future.
Now, Andrew, I got a question for you, bud. How was your first trip to Hong Kong? Because I've been hyping it up for years and years and years, and it was just so wonderful seeing you. What'd you think of your experience out there?
It was unbelievable, Alex. Yeah, I couldn't have had a better time. Now, I have been to Hong Kong. It's just been a long time since I was there. I used to visit Darren Flindell, the old race caller, on my way back and forth from the UK and Australia going back in the day. Probably 2005 it's been since I was last year there. But unbelievable experience from the time you arrive until the time you leave. I thought IJC was phenomenal on the Wednesday night. Sha Tin for International Day on the Sunday. It's all put on for you. And then all the events and everything to do in between, not to mention the food. Like, it's just a real destination for an incredible week of racing. And if you're a racing fan, and no doubt you probably are if you're watching this, I would put it on your bucket list. You got to get involved and go at least once in your lifetime. And further to that, I think if you're a jockey or a trainer or an owner in the United States, you should be aspiring, if you've got a horse good enough, to get it involved in Hong Kong on a day like International Race Day, because this is the best of the best, the Turf World Championships, as they call it. It's a shame No Balls couldn't have gotten there this year, the first American horse for a while to contend, but unfortunately spiked a fever. But I would be aspiring to get my horse or get a ride there, because it was absolutely unbelievable. And they just love their racing there, Alex. Like, I got on the plane on the way home, picked up the South Morning China Post. Can you see it there? Front page, picture story. On the front page of their national newspaper, turn to the sports section. Not only did we have one full racing page, 2 full pages of racing, but three pages complete of racing. So there was 5 pages of sport, 3 of them totally covered with racing. So it was great to be in a town where you get in an Uber and the Uber driver wants to talk racing to you. The receptionist at the hotel wants to talk racing with you. Even my flight attendant on the way home had moved his schedule and requested to fly to Hong Kong so he could be at Sha Tin for International Day and then fly back. He lives in LA, a United flight attendant. So they were absolutely mad for their racing over there. And I cannot recommend it highly enough.
Yeah, the concierge at the hotel, I've been there in April, and we kind of built a relationship. He's always asking about the horses. And when I got there on the Sunday, I had given him my horse, Sing Dragon, there. And he was all about it. He's pulling up a Chinese-based show with quotes from the trainer. And so when I tipped him, I go, hey, put this tip on Sing Dragon. And we did get a winner. But everybody there is so wonderful. The club treats you so well. And same experience on the plane.
Yeah.
Every time I get on, somebody is like, oh, Golden 60. And they see the plushie on the back of the bag. And the other question for you is, how many breakfasts did you have throughout the week? Over 10?
Actually, I haven't jumped on the scales yet, but you were right, and you warned me about this too. The breakfast buffet opens at Sha Tin, and it's at 7:30, and I tend to have a breakfast around about them, and then it didn't close until 11:30, so I was having my second breakfast around sort of 11:15, and that would see me through to the rest of the day. Outstanding, but just the fact that there's dumplings as well on the breakfast bar, how good.
The lobster Wednesday night that I was working and I didn't get to eat, but I saw Tim's pictures of the lobster and I was like, oh my God, I got to get up there and get a bite of something. But everything that week is just so incredible. They treat you so well. And the access to the riders and the trainers, like for you, where you're doing your interviews, you saw you with Purton and J-Mac, and it just put a big smile on my face, and can't wait to be back next year in April.
Absolutely. I'm already looking to see if I can get there then as well. It was amazing, or even in January. One thing I wanted to ask you, Alex, your photos have been incredible and getting a lot of engagement online. You do wonderful things to promote Hong Kong racing, not just in North America, but around the world. I'm going to put you on the spot. Have you got your top 5? You probably haven't even gone through them all yet. We're only a couple of days from getting home. Your top 5 photos that you have captured during HKIR that you can share with us?
Yeah, I'm still going through everything, and I haven't seen quite everything yet on the editing bay here. But I do have a top 5 favorite photos of Romantic Warrior done so far. He's the one that we delivered first and foremost, and I got to go through a couple of them. But that first one, the remote shot where J-Mac is up in the irons with his hand out, like, are you entertained? And it was only one frame on a Sabre camera that you could actually see the hand not being obstructed by the horse's head. That's like a top favorite photo that I've made all time in Hong Kong. To be honest, it's a pretty special one with the sun setting in the background. And then the look back, number 2, the look back to Tastiera and Liberty Island. And again, like the Damian Lane expression on his face, smiling at J-Mac as he's kicking clear. It was an absolutely incredible frame. And after the race, it's always a challenge for me to decide what I'm going to do and where I'm going to go. And if I go up to the entryway to the victory lane, or do I stay inside the winning post area? And I ended up staying outside, and I got a picture of J-Mac locking eyes with Romantic Warrior after he's got off the horse. And the special moment between the two, and you can just tell the love that J-Mac has for the horse, but also the relationship the horse has with J-Mac, and it's a special one. And then I got one with Danny, who he ran out there on the turf course. Like I said earlier, he was tipping his cap to the runners up there, but he embraced J-Mac and he gets to his horse, and he always does it. He gives the horse a big hug and a kiss. And it's just, again, the love of the horse. You can tell it's first and foremost with these guys. And finally, there's a shot where I was just trying to make anything happen out there, and I was able to focus on the fans as they're screaming J-Mac's name, and the horse is out of focus, and J-Mac's yelling as well. And it just kind of goes to show the fandom in Hong Kong, some of the best racing fans in the world, with the signs and the flags, and they're really, to me, what makes racing special there. I mean, even as a photographer from North America, I'm not a jockey, I'm not a trainer, I'm not a celebrity at all, but people yelling my name, Evers, and wanting to shake hands and take pictures. It's just something that's really, really, really special to me, and I always hold Hong Kong racing and their fans in such high regards. And those are my top 5 photos from Romantic Warrior. I haven't got to all of them yet, but Romantic Warrior are the ones that I've done so far, and what a special horse he is.
Yeah, and some special photos there captured for now eternity. We look forward to you following his career next year in Saudi and the Middle East, hopefully as well. See you in Dubai and Saudi, and what you can capture there. That will be amazing. Not to be outdone, Alex, I just wanted to share with you a couple of my favorite photos from the trip. Here's my first photo. This is me with a few friends having a beer with trainers David Hayes and Jamie Richards at the Grand Hyatt pool bar. Now, this is a photo of me with Nick Luck and Aussie race caller Matthew Hill and Aussie racing media personality Michael Felgate enjoying a nice dinner at a restaurant called Holy Fook, which was absolutely delicious. Have to get back there next time. But my favourite photo of the trip, Alex, it's you and I with Aidan O'Brien, who joined us during last week's Hong Kong racing show just as we were previewing the Vase. So that's my top three.
Aidan O'Brien joining us, like, by the way, like, that still was like an incredible moment. And like, I've met him, I've talked to him, and I've got some stories. And you're just a fan of the sport. I'm still starstruck every time. And when you pulled him over, I was like, there's no way he's going to come over. And then when you actually asked me to ask a question, you could tell I was just like, I'm not normally speechless, but I just couldn't come up with anything. It's like, Aidan O'Brien, so this is one of the best trainers in the world, one of the best horsemen, and just a brilliant, kind guy. Took time with everybody. But that was such a highlight for me. Not just a highlight of the trip, just a highlight of my racing career right there, you know?
I wonder if he's going to send you a, was it a City? No, Augusta Red Inn jacket.
Yeah, it's an Augusta Redan jacket with, that's the sculptor. Oh, it's so cool. And that's one of my favorite horses. I just love the Deep Impact and the Galileo cross there, and what they've done with him he's special.
All right. Yeah, it was an amazing week, but now we look forward. There's plenty of good racing to come, and time to find you a winner at Sha Tin on Saturday night. And let's take a look at the feature race on the card, the Look For Jewellery Cup over the 5 furlongs on the turf. And number 4, Fast Network, your likely favourite, won by 4 lengths last time out. In solid time too, looks very progressive, should be hard to beat here. Number 5, I Give, has plenty of speed and should be sent forward with J-Mac on board. Number 7, Healthy, won twice in the space of a few days the week before last, and is back to do it all again over a distance that he loves. And 8, Stellar Express, has been knocking on the door as well. As we check out the speed map, which shows that I Give is the likely pace setter. Alex, can you give a pick to the viewers here?
You know what? I'm going to go with my boy Vincent Ho and Healthy. What he did off that Wednesday night to Sunday 2 weeks ago was incredible. And he bounces back to the 1,000 meters. He's getting a little bit of a weight break from Fast Network. I really like Fast Network as well, but I'm going to try to catch a bit of a price. I think he'll be a little bit longer. And both horses, Fast Network and Healthy, have improved up the ratings 13 points this season. And then for a third spot, I really like Stellar Express. He was right there with Healthy last time, but I think these are the top 3 that I'm going to go with. What about you, Andrew?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Fast Network, although I do like Healthy. Your pick, currently 9-2 on the morning line, courtesy of our friends at Sky Racing World. We'll see if that price holds up. Fast Network, 11-10. So yeah, we'll be the favourite. But Zac should be able to give him a lovely run behind what should be a solid enough speed set by I Give and pounce on them late. He defeated Heroic Master last out by a few lengths, and Heroic Master is a good horse. I think there's probably bigger and better things to come for Fast Network. So Fast Network for me on top in the feature race at Sha Tin on Saturday night. That's race number 7 on the card. Are you going to stick with Healthy as your best bet, Alex, or have you got another horse for us for your best bet?
I'm going to stick with Healthy as my best bet on the card. That's kind of been what I've been doing, is sticking with the race there. But there's a horse that I did want to kind of look at, and I don't know if it's going to be a best bet type of thing, but it's one that I'm interested in watching run, is Cap Ferrat for Francis Liu. He's run in Australia 13 times, hasn't won, but have been running really well in the Grade 1 level. I think he's going to be interesting to see, and he's a 4-year-old. So if he does acclimate to Hong Kong racing well, he could be another one for Francis to join packing Hermod in the Classic Series. And again, the Classic Series is one of my favorite 3 races of the year, and that series always produces something special. In the past, we've got the likes of Golden 60, Beauty Generation, Romantic Warrior, California Spangle. So horses that go to that series tend to go on to be stars in Hong Kong, and so we're always looking for the next one. And maybe this guy's it. I don't know. We'll see. He's still a maiden. and he's going to have to carry 135 pounds, but he's one that I'm going to watch. And I don't know about betting him, but I definitely want to keep an eye on him.
For sure. Plenty of form on the board in Australia too before his first Hong Kong start this weekend. My best bet, we're going to get a race 9, number 1, Swift Ascend from the David Eustace barn, who's been in terrific form of late. Won 2 of his last 3, including a pretty comprehensive win by about 2 lengths last time out. J-Mac continues the partnership. Interesting to see J-Mac didn't get a win at Happy Valley on Wednesday, but I'm sure he'll be back with a vengeance at Sha Tin on Saturday night North American time. That wraps things up from our post HKIR show. Anything else to add, Alex? And
that's it, man. Other than my favorite named horse in Hong Kong won on Wednesday night, Can't Go Wong. I just think that's the funniest name for a horse. And he ran well over the top too late there. It was a nice run.
I love that. I wonder if they could get a horse entered, named after that restaurant that I was at as well. Holy Fook. I'm not sure if that'll.
You got to watch how you say that, brother. you got to watch how you say that. We might be having to hit some beeps on you.
I think that's why it's called what it is, isn't it? But anyway, thank you very much for tuning in and watching another edition of the Hong Kong Racing Show. Keep following us, HK Racing US on X, for all the latest news, picks, analysis, and we'll keep you up to date with what's happening in Hong Kong racing. Of course, always check out the Hong Kong Jockey Club website. That's hkjc.com for all the latest information as well, including free PPs and trials and everything you need to be a well-informed horse player on Hong Kong racing. Alex, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next time on the Hong Kong Racing Show.